Thank you. I'm here to tell you about it. So as background for those who didn't take part in the hackathon, participants were placed in teams and challenged to develop and present a hybrid work solution to a fictitious company. This morning, participants were creating a hybrid work solution for ABC Inc. That's a San Francisco-based tech company with an openness to new ideas and some familiarity with remote working before the pandemic changed everything. Yesterday, our participants were creating hybrid work solutions for XYZ PLC. That's a London-based financial services company, more interested in just staying the course with the things it had been doing with workplace. In both cases, our hackathon participants were charged with developing a strategic plan and recommendations for deploying a successful hybrid work strategy that would enable the client organization to attract and retain talent, support innovation and creativity, allow employees to do their best work, and deliver fluidity and flexibility in the real estate portfolio and the workplace itself. The teams were asked to make recommendations for actions to be taken immediately, within 6 months, and within 1 year. So thanks very much to those who participated, and congratulations to the 2 finalist teams. We do have a slide here that will show the team. So Team 1, consulting for XYZ PLC, you see the team members there, the individuals who took part for that team, and then the other finalist team consulting on behalf of ABC Inc., and you see the various team members for Team 2. With that, let's meet the judges. Sharks, or as we say here in Europe, dragons. Please join me on stage. We've got 2 chairs for you right over here. Thanks very much. We're glad to have these 2 end-user judges to judge our hackathon this afternoon. We do have Chris Bunker, Senior Director, Global Workplace Transformation, Royal Bank of Canada. Chris, thank you for serving in this role today. And Brian Crockford, MCR, Global Program Manager, Global Workplace Services, Microsoft. So wonderful to have these sharks on stage. And now, with that, we'll have each team come out. Because so many of the participants had to leave early to catch flights at Schiphol, we are going to be presenting videos of their presentations instead of live presentations. We captured video today and yesterday. You'll be seeing a video presentation, but a representative from each team will be here on stage to do live Q&A with the sharks. And so that's how we'll do it. So at this point, would our representative from Team 1 please come up and join me on stage? And now please turn your attention to the screens. You will see the video from Team 1, and after that, we'll have Q&A with the judges for 2 minutes. Please, with the video.
Right, guys, so our company's been faced with one of the major challenges in the last 30 years. It's losing market share, it's unable to attract the top talent, so attrition rate is very high, and we're going to change all that. The CRE community within the organization is going to play its part to help the company change their portfolio and to help them navigate the future of work successfully. We're looking to really 4 outcomes that we can drive out of that. The first one is we want to reduce footprint. The second one is we want to make employees more engaged, improve well-being, frankly speaking, making them happier. The third one is we want to improve flexibility and reduce cost. We got too much space out there. And the fourth one is we want to impact our carbon footprint.
We believe better is possible. So, together we've developed what we believe to be an achievable road to success. Immediately, we'd like to start with understanding what is our hybrid strategy. If we were to propose anything immediately, it would be too early. We need to understand what we're actually dealing with. So what we would like to do is to analyze the results of the employee survey that we conducted some months ago. We'd like to incorporate these results with better understanding the types of activities that are taking place within the space, not only at the office, but also at home, and more importantly, asking the employees why. Within 6 months, we'd like to take these results and develop regional pilots. Why regional? That's a good question. Let me tell you, it's because we would like to understand the different work styles and whether it's best to implement a global or regional strategy, so there may be differences in these work styles. This will better help us to understand the workplace behavior, what works, and more importantly, what doesn't. While we're taking a look at the different types of personas within the office, such as introverts versus extroverts, and how we can be developing much more inclusive spaces. Within 12 months, we'd like to take these findings and really understand what we need to do. Here's the exciting news. We found that through this pilot, we can improve engagement by 20%. We can also reduce the footprint by a massive 35%. In doing this, we're able to really reduce our carbon footprint, increase employee engagement, and also reduce our overall costs.
So we want to be the first choice for all employees, with a seal of excellence for employee engagement, satisfaction, with a reduced carbon footprint, but most importantly, an inclusive, diverse and happy workforce. But we won't rest on our laurels. This is a continuous improvement, and we won't be leaving it another 15 years before we develop another refurbishment of the workspace. And we believe that better is possible.
As you can see, they had a time limit during the session for their presentation, so that is that Team 1 presentation. We now will have 2 minutes of Q&A with our sharks and our dragons, so I'll keep an eye on the time. Gentlemen, please.
Great, thanks very much. And we're going to be a little less shark-like and more like dolphins, given the reduced number of team on stage. So we'll be kind. We'll be kind. So really, I'm just interested in how we can leverage hybrid to improve the DE&I position of the company. Obviously, we've got very high targets. How can we bring hybrid to bear to improve that?
Well, the biggest component is making certain there's flexibility and options. So people want to know that they have options, that where they're working and how they're working, and they also have the right tools that allow them to work effectively and productively. So it may be having flex spaces, as what we found is using a third party, as well as upgrading our current infrastructure to allow for that flexibility.
Now, this program of change, I feel, is just simply too aggressive for this organization. Have you really spoken to enough stakeholders to form your opinions?
Yes.
Good answer, good answer, yep.
No, actually, I think that's actually the biggest component, is that it's so important as we're looking at, one of the things that we talked about this morning is non-linear work options, right? So that in order to make a change and to address D&I and retain talent, you do have to make a dramatic change, because making small changes, people are like, well, who cares? All you did was add a phone booth over there, but I still have all this other thing, so I'm really not getting myself engaged and feeling like I'm collaborating or that I'm valued. I mean, the most important thing as you're working is that you feel like you have purpose and you're valued and you're contributing to the overall structure of the company, and people want to understand, how does that work? Like, what do I do that's actually impacting that I have better margins, return on investment, as well as increasing revenue?
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Let's hear it for Team 1. Well done. Now, if representatives from Team 2 would join me on stage. The dramatic entry. Yes, that helps. Okay, so now we will have the video from Team 2. Please.
Hello everyone. So the question is, what are we going to do with our spaces? And we've devised a one-year plan for how we're going to turn them into places. We listened to the company and heard 3 major asks. One is, how do we get together to create visibility among each other? How do we advance our careers? And 3, there is a lot going on, but we feel we need to get together. with a stronger engagement. So we've devised this program which is going to drive environmental and economic efficiency in a highly inclusive methodology, all powered by everybody's engagement.
Great, so I'll talk you through the first few months of our plan. Our first step is to prepare a global summit and to recruit some global sponsors and some project teams which will represent cross-functional teams from across the business and across the globe. Within the first 3 months, we'll then organise a global summit in San Francisco with the project teams. Those sponsors from across the globe will come together and we'll have our first placemaking hack event in San Fran. Everyone will have a kind of really exciting kick-off event where we'll agree some global guiding principles.
And then on 6 months, we'll be into the real placemaking mode and hack events that will have cascaded around the globe into other important locations so they feel absolutely empowered and part of the program. We'll be sharing learnings and findings in a continual buzz online via our messaging systems and regular check-ins, and there'll be regular newsletters and social media events to build up excitement as we make our spaces into places.
So basically, what's very important for us is to raise healthy competition within the regions, within the departments, across the whole firm. And therefore, as Dan, Darren, and Thomas mentioned, in the end, we need 3 things from you guys here at the C-suite. The first one, well, obviously this will take a little bit of money and therefore would come to you guys with a certain budget. However, as you might have heard, we're taking up from 2 leases out of our portfolio. And so what we're thinking is having you guys matching the rest of the whole initiative. Now, the second piece is around, we're thinking of actually allowing all of the countries to get 2 days of community works to actually fulfill all of this project. And finally, what's very important for us, we're talking about different cultures, different departments. We need your vocal support across the board to get everyone involved so that, in 3 months, in 6 months, and in 12 months, we get some very inspiring initiatives on track. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and now we have some time for Q&A, 2 minutes. Sharks, please take it away.
Global summits, are you guys nuts? What's the purpose? What's the value in that? Anyway, we'll come back to that one later. What I'd really like to know from you guys, where does the deployment of some of our fantastic technology suite of products? We didn't hear that get mentioned once.
So the technology is going to be actively deployed as we follow up the high energy gatherings that have been in person. And so we're going to be checking in at a quarterly basis with follow-up through technology.
And also, we should not forget that the in-person piece is actually very central in order to create this kind of community feeling. So basically with this global summit at first, we're getting a cross-functional task force from different regions to come to our HQ in SF. We lay down all of the strategy at a global level, and then from there, every one of those task forces are going back home, and then through there, they're actually implementing home. Now, the tech piece, in 12 months, we're having a virtual summit, where every single region are sharing their best practice and projects, so this is where everything will come into place.
Okay, so you say placemaking. I think of toilets in Australia. I think of thrones in car parks in LA. What does that mean for the office?
First of all, toilets in Australia and thrones in car parks are great. So what that means for the office is what we're excited to find out. And we want this to exactly be inclusive. And so we don't feel in the position as 2 decision makers plus our team that we are going to be deciding that. That's exactly the whole point, is we want to get all hands on deck and hear what we can get together from different angles as a response. And by getting everyone in first at the global level and use San Francisco to pilot that, we then also hope that people are going to make their own local
regional interpretations, which hopefully are going to be different with their own flavor. So it really is going to be quite different probably from place to place while having a red thread that goes through.
And I know we are out of time.
Time is up, yes. Let's hear it for Team 2. Well done, please. Well done, Team 2. Thank you. Thank you very much. And so at this point, our judges, our sharks, will now deliberate over the course of the balance of this general session, and the winner, Team 1 or Team 2, will be announced later on in this program. So thanks to everyone who took part in the hackathon. Thanks again to Cushman & Wakefield for their sponsorship, and especially now, thank you, Sharks.